Hey there everybody, PTPOP here. All four lobes of my brain securely bound behind my back. And today I want to talk about how to use your call center experience as a source of inspiration to better yourself and become the person you want to be. Stay tuned. Now, I know that sounds like a lot of mumbo jumbo, maybe a lot of psychology and a hogwash and stuff like that, but honestly, number one, I'm really tired of seeing all these other websites, vlogs and blogs and podcasts where people are constantly whining and complaining about their situation or the country's situation or how the government's controlling everybody or how their jobs suck. And I admit, I'm part of it. I'm one of those people that sits here and whines and complains about my torturous tenure working in a call center. And the one thing I say to a lot of these people, especially a lot of the people that talk about the conspiracy theories, how they think that somebody was behind 9/11 in the government, that 9/11 was an inside job. They're constantly saying the sky is falling, the sky is falling, the sky is falling, but they don't give an answer. They don't give a solution as to what we're supposed to do about it. They just complain about it over and over and over again. Traditionally, it's passively through the internet. And so what I'd like to do is talk about what you can do if you're currently employed in a call center to improve your situation as a person. Because I'm not going to sit here and complain and talk about all the horrendous things that go on a call center. And because it just doesn't get any of us anywhere. Why not take this situation that you're in, if you're currently in a call center and you're working in one, why not use that situation as a source of inspiration or a motivation to get you where you want to go. And I'm going to tell you what I did when I was working in a call center, and even when I worked in the corporate world. And I would go into, these call centers, let's just specifically say the call center, and I would sit there and get beat up by the customers, get beat up by management, so on and so forth, and I would fume. I would sit there and get so angry, and I'd be so resentful that these people just didn't see my God-given talents as an artist or a musician or whatever it happened to be. I was resentful and I hated myself for allowing myself to be put in a situation, okay? And I always blamed it on everybody else. It was always everybody else's fault. Somebody else made me do this. Somebody else gave me the idea to work in call centers. Somebody else did this, somebody else did that. And I started to just get upset and I'd fume and I'd sit there and just beat myself up. And I'd also used that as a source of inspiration. I started to say, this is ridiculous. How can I get myself out of this situation? How can I rise up from it all? And I remember in between calls, the few brief moments I'd have in between calls, I would dream about whatever it was I wanted to do at that time. Mostly the things I dreamed of were being a musician, being an artist, going back to school. And I would sit there and say, I'm going to show these people one day. I'm going to show these people one day. I'm going to go back to school and I'm going to get my degree in graphic design. Or I'm going to go home and I'm going to write a song, or I'm going to go write a book. I'm going to do something with myself, because the reason I thought this is I always felt in my heart that I was better than working in a call center. And I think you're better than working in a call center. Most people are better. You're too good to be beat up and abused like that. You're too good to be taken advantage of by corporations. And I say you use these corporations, number one, to give you the finances to achieve your dreams. So use the money that you're being paid in these call centers, if you can afford to put aside a certain percentage of each paycheck to get you towards the goals you want to achieve. If you want to go to college, save up some money for tuition. Okay. If your company offers you tuition reimbursement and you've met the metrics in the call center, take advantage of the college reimbursement if they allow you. But the trick they put you in there is they tell you, sure, we've got college tuition reimbursement, but it has to line up with their company goals. So if you're working for a bank and you want to go to school to be an artist, they're not going to pay for it. They'll only pay for financial degrees or business degrees. So if you do want to work in a call center and you want to go back to school like I did to become an artist, try to get a job for a company that's in graphic design, maybe a company that sells graphic design on a worldwide basis, and they have a call center, and they have tuition reimbursement, and they'll allow you to get reimbursed that way, and you can go back to school to study art. But make sure that the company you're working for is in line with your personal goals. The second thing I would do would be to make sure that you don't let the pressures and the craziness of the job get you so down that you just resign yourself and you say, well, this must be all I'm good for. Because I know many of you and many of the people I worked with came in from the fast food industry. And I've made fun of some of the people that worked in fast food just to kind of get a laugh. I don't think there's anything wrong with working in the fast food. I had a friend in high school that put himself through college working at McDonald's. He worked there for about 7 years. And he's a good guy. He's a hardworking guy. And he and I both went from working in restaurants to call center work right after college. So there's nothing wrong with working in fast food. But the truth of the matter is, going from a call center, or going from fast food to a call center is a step up, but that doesn't mean it ends there. Just because you don't have a degree, just because you've only worked in fast food in a call center, does not mean you're worthless. It does not mean that. So get that completely out of your head. So what I'm saying is, as you sit there and if you're feeling resentful and angry that you have to have this job to make ends meet, get it out of your head that you're worthless and this is all you'll ever do. Use the job as a source of motivation to get into the field you want to do. If you want to become an engineer, or you want to become a pilot, or whatever your dreams are, use the call center to use that moment in time to get you out of where you're at, because most of you do not want to be in a call center for 5, 10, 15 years. Some people do it, but it takes a very, very special type of person to make a call center job a career. You really have to have a certain set of skills. You have to have really good people skills. You have to be phenomenal on the phones. You have to have great organizational skills. You have to have great memory and recall skills. And I didn't have it. I just didn't have it. I was raised to learn things over time, studying and things like that. The other thing you need to do is, if you have a significant other, if you're married, sit down with that person and say, hey, look, hon, this job sucks. This is what my wife and I said. She and I both realized I had gotten stuck in this call center thing, and I sat down with her and I said, I can't do this anymore. I just cannot do it. And my wife had gotten to a place in her career where she was making enough money to support the two of us. And she said, hey, look, why don't you go back to school? I'm in a place now where you can go back to school, quit the job, and just go back to school. Now, this is back in 2006 that this conversation took place, and we took advantage of that situation. But sit down with your spouse and say, hey, look, are we at a place where financially we can afford to have me go back to school? Sit down and go over the numbers. Find out what your finances are. Find out what your bills are. See if there are things you can cancel. If you don't need HBO, cancel HBO. If you don't need cable, if you don't need cable TV, keep the internet, because you need the internet to achieve anything these days. So don't beat yourself up. Think what goals you want to achieve. Use the college tuition reimbursement plan that company may have if it lines up with your dreams and goals. Sit down with your spouse. And the other thing is I would make mental and physical notes in between calls or on your breaks of the things you want to do and the things you want to achieve. This is what I did. In between every call, I'd be writing songs, or I'd be writing down ideas. I'd be on my phone. If I was allowed to be on my phone, I'd be looking at schools I could go to, things like that. And start planning what you want to do. Use the time in between calls, not to sit back like I used to do and feel sorry for something. I'm in another call center. I'm such a sorry thoughts. No. Pull out your phone. Take out the notepad if you're allowed to have the phone at your desk, and write down the ideas. There's the notepad on every phone. And, start making notes. Making notes of what you want to do and what you want to achieve. And don't give up. I think the basic thing you cannot do is let these call centers get to you and make you want to give up. I've been there. They're horrendous. They're horrific places to work. Are they as bad as somebody that goes down in the sewers and has to clean human excrement out of the sewers? No, I doubt it. Are they probably the worst job in the world? Probably not. There's probably worse. But if you have any amount of self-esteem and self-value and self-worth, it eats you up inside sitting at these desks letting people beat you up. The people you work alongside are not friendly for the most part. The supervisors are sadistic and unrelenting. The customers are just abysmal. We know that. So use this as a source of inspiration. Go, you know what, I'm going to get myself out of here, you know. This may be a huge stepping stone for you to get to where you want to go. This may be the next, you know, this may get you to the next plateau. You're going up. You've gone from McDonald's to XYZ call center. Maybe next is the community college. And after you get your associate's degree, you get your bachelor's degree, but there's ways to do it. Look into, dare I say it, bank loans, you know, educational loans, college loans for school. Talk to your spouse about financing school, how you're going to do it, and make sure it's a goal. Write these things down because, you know, like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm really tired of sitting here just ripping call centers apart. I think it's time that I try to help the world, and this is what I've discovered is I personally want to go out there and try to help people. So I had been going to school for a couple of years. I have a degree in communications that I got many years ago, and it really didn't give me any skills that I could use in the corporate world. It really didn't. And so I had abandoned a graphics design degree many years ago before I got the communications degree. I was like, screw this graphic design stuff. But in the back of my mind, when I was at these call centers, I'm like, maybe I could go back and get a graphic design degree. Maybe that's the way to go. But as time went by and I went back to school, I finally went back to school in 2006. Graphic design had completely changed. It was all digital, which made it completely manageable and easy to do. But what it did was level the playing field. Now everybody was a graphic designer. So there may have been more graphic design jobs, but there was more and more people applying for them because now everybody thinks they're a graphic designer. So this has led me to think, well, graphic design really contradicts who I am. I'm trying to wake people up and make them aware of what's going on in the world and how they're being tricked and how they're being manipulated by the corporations. And that's what graphic design is. Graphic design is a way of pulling people in and grabbing their attention, manipulating them to get them to buy a product or look at a product or come into a store. And I didn't like that. I don't want to be like that. I'm not a manipulative person, and I'm somebody that's straightforward, and I shoot from the hip and say, this is who I am and this is how I am, and if you don't like it, tough. And most people said, okay, great, I'll see you later, Pete. So I'm going off on more of a psychology, sociology direction. I'm looking into going back to school to study sociology or to study psychology because I'm fascinated with how people think or they don't think, or why they think the way they do and how they're manipulating into thinking certain ways. And I think videos like this, I don't want to just bitch and want to complain about that horrible situation. So I'm asking each and every one of you, if you're still employed in a call center, or if you're thinking of going into one, use it to your advantage to get what you need to get to the next level of your life. Don't plan on staying there, because most of you will not stay there more than a year. You know, most people don't last more than 6 months in a call center, and they move on to something else, or they just quit and go back home. So use it as a source of inspiration. Use it as a source of motivation. You just sit there and go, oh, just, you know, take it one day at a time, just like you're in a 12-step program. Take it one day at a time. Say, one more day here. I get through these calls, I get home, turn on the laptop or the computer, whatever you have at home, and start researching school or other job. Update your resume. Do something positive. Don't go home after work and throw back a few bush lights and get tanked and sit in a dark room watching reruns of MASH and feel sorry for yourself. It's not going to get you anywhere but a busted up liver, and it's going to destroy your brain and your body, and it's not going to get you anywhere. You're just perpetuating the horrible situation that you're already in, and one day you're going to end up sick from it. So Try to be positive. Again, I don't have a book to sell you. I'm not Dr. Phil. I'm not going to try to sell you a great book that my wife, my lovely wife, and I wrote. Because I know what it's like. I know it's like to sit in these goddamn little cubicles and be tortured every day, and nobody seems to care. And honestly, I'll be honest with you. Aside from your spouse and your mom, nobody really cares. The only person that cares about your personal success is you. I've had very, very few people, if anybody, try to help me at all, especially in art. You're an artist, forget it. You're gonna have a lot of snakes and sleazeballs and leeches hanging around you, leeching off you to get ideas off of you and use you for free stuff. If you're thinking of being an artist, you've got to be cutthroat. You've got to be. You've got to become a big dick. But really, nobody cares about your success. People at work will only care about your success if you show promise. And it's very hard to show promise in a call center environment. As a matter of fact, this right here is my first CD I ever recorded of original music. It's 12 songs. The CD was called, or is called, Child's Play. And I recorded this in 1999 in a studio in Streetsboro, Ohio, named Harvest Recording. And a great guy named Robert Carothers played music. He played guitar, piano, bass. On it, his brother Chris played drums. It's a picture of me when I was, I think, 9 years old with my first, with the toy guitar, my Beatle haircut. And this was a dream of mine. And I would sit in these call centers. I worked in a call center for GTE Wireless, and I'd sit there and dream about going to the studio and recording, writing my own music. I had started writing music in 1993, earlier than that actually, but my first real songs came out in 93. And I would sit there and I'd dream. I would just dream about recording this stuff. So I had saved up enough money. The guitar, I don't have the guitar in here right now, it's over there. The guitar I had that I finally got, I financed it. I did 6 months, same as cash. I paid it off with no interest. It was a $1,200 guitar that I got for like $900. So, but the call centers were a source of inspiration for me to make this music, and I've made like 5 or 6 other CDs. I've written 150 other songs. Am I famous? No. Am I making millions of dollars from it? No. Am I making money from it? Yes. Is it a lot? No. But between this, my music, my books, YouTube, you guys, and my affiliate links through Amazon, and all these things combined, I'm making a part-time wage. I'm making just as much money doing all of this and enjoying myself as I would be working at Walmart or Target. Maybe not as good as there. I don't have the benefits and stuff. I'm not saying you're going to achieve ultimate success, but if you give yourself something to shoot for and goals, it's going to make going into work a lot easier and a lot more bearable. And once you get to start working on those goals and see them coming to life, you're going to feel better about yourself. You're going to see more hope. You're going to feel more mentally stable. And you're not going to be angry at the world and yourself, and the resentment will start to melt away. And that's what's happened with me. Now keep in mind, in my situation, if my wife, God forbid, were to divorce me, I'd be out in the street because I don't make enough money to live. You know, I would not I'm not making that kind of money. I'll be honest with you, I'm not making that kind of money. And I don't bust my ass as hard as I could, but with all the money I've invested into this, I'm still, and all the time, even though I'm not making a lot of money, I'm a lot happier, a lot more mentally stable and emotionally stable than I was when I was sitting in those call centers or working at a desk in a corporation. Far better. So I say there's something out there for each and every one of you. Use these call center jobs as a source of inspiration to move forward. So if you like my channel, if you like my videos, give me the thumbs up. There's a thumbs up button down there somewhere. There's a subscribe button. Subscribe to my channel. If you have friends that work in call centers, tell them about my channel. Again, the way you can support my channel without spending any of your money is to just let the advertisements play at the beginning or the middle of my videos. I do not sponsor those sponsors. I don't know who they are. I don't have anything to do with it, but if you let it play all the way out, 1 to 2 minutes, 3 minutes, I get a couple of cents every time it plays. Outside that, I have no power of those videos, unless I don't monetize my videos. I have a BitChute channel. I also have a podcast which is called PTPOP, A Mind Revolution, where I talk about how to conquer corporate America by knowing their tricks, knowing how they're manipulating you. I go over all the marketing and advertising schemes they use to pull you in and suck you in, to get you to buy products you don't need and you don't want. And you'll stand in line you'll no longer want to stand in line on Black Friday to get some of this junk that they're selling you, because you know you're being tricked into it. But that's it for today. You know, check out my music. I've got links. Links to everything will be in the description here. The devices I use, my cameras, my monitors, my tripods, music I sell, books I sell will all be in the description. So hope you're having a good weekend. Take care. Thanks a lot. And I am going to, this was published on the internet like in 1999. This is a CD called Child's Play. And it was on somebody's website that's now gone. They've gone out of business. This was like 20 years ago. I'm going to republish it. And it's the best production, quality-wise, that I've ever done because of Robert Carothers and his talents. A real talented guy. If you ever want to see a really good musician, this guy can play everything. And he does it magnificently well. His name is Robert Carothers. Look him up on the internet. I'll put a link to his stuff here on the internet. Take care. Have a good weekend. Talk to you soon. Auf Wiedersehen, baby.